Hello everyone, this is Travalgar Valentine, coming with another new video for my Mad Max cars. Today I'll be doing Cranky Frank, which is an interesting low rider with a big massive Chevy V8 blower on top. And like all the other cars I've done previously before, I'll be starting off with the wheelbase, then building the engine block, the body work on top of it. This is squares twice as big as the usual squares I've done previously for the other cars, just because it's a lot bigger and it allows me a lot more room to actually do the complicated engine designs and things. But I think it'll be quite interesting to draw, especially as one of those unique low riders of the actual film. Once got the basic designs for the blocks and stuff like that, and the engine, where I want the engine to go and things, then I'll go into inking. Now to ink this car, basically I'll be going in with the design off with the blower on top, and then working my way down with the engine parts. And the engine is compared to the car. The car's very low down, heavily modified and stuff, so the engine's heavily exposed. It has a lot of components sticking out of it, being very powerful, and has a variety of different bits. I'm not quite sure, I'm not really much of a mechanic. Just working my way down with all the different hoses here and there. Working around the car. This is one of my favourite cars actually to draw so far. Since my last car is a Duff truck, I thought I'd step it up a bit and do something a lot more interesting. So I decided to choose this one, and I found a fantastic picture that showed all the different engine parts and stuff, so I thought it'd be a good challenge to try and draw it. I'm working my way down to the coolant systems and the fan belt and stuff. Get the V8 shape in there. This is of course in time lapse, not real time, just to kind of speed it up a bit. It did take me about, say, a good hour, maybe an hour and a half altogether, maybe two, for the shading as well. And slowly with a rugged front end as well. This car is very rusty and has a very rough look, so it's quite good to actually try and draw these rat rods, because you can just draw rough, sketchy lines as well. Just going in with all the little details here and there. Using a 0.2 pen at this point, so it's not too thin and not too large, but it's just good enough to get all those extra little details in and things. The grill's kind of weird. It's got the bars in the front are all misshapen and things, very out of place. But yeah, with these vertical lines and stuff going down, it's quite, once you get one or two down, they just work their way across. Zoomed out a little bit, as you can see, just so you can see the full picture. Then I'm going back in, just other little details here and there. But then I'm going to start with the shading. Now with the shading, I want to create different kind of textures for different parts of the cars. The smooth metal on top, the rough body, kind of odd kind of exhaust sticking out from the side of the engine and things. So for the rough body shape, I'm going to be doing the long vertical lines, and the good trick is to basically work with the surface area. So this surface is vertical, so I'll be doing vertical lines down, and then as it comes up to the top where the lights are, curl it round. So work with the surface, work with the texture. These little lines, although it's not much, but as you build them up, it builds sort of the rusty kind of texture. It gives it sort of a look of maybe fading paint and just random areas, and then working it backwards and forwards, building up slowly. Keep working the vertical lines, keep the shape the same. If it was different kind of lines throughout it, it would look a bit flat and a bit misshapen. But if you keep the texture the same for the whole part of the body work, your eyes will focus on that kind of texture for the whole body work. And if you keep that texture for the other side of the bodywork as well, your eyes will focus on just that. And then go likewise to the side panels on the horizontal part of the roof with horizontal lines, little thin lines. working up layers backwards and forwards. I put this one in real time just so you can see how I've actually shaded it. Going with I need to do thick black lines on the edges as well to create the darkest sections. Working backwards and forwards, slowly building up layers here and there. Some parts will be a lot slightly darker than others, and obviously around the door edges and stuff like that will be a lot thicker. Underneath will be the most darkest part. As you can see, I'm doing the light from the left hand side and the darkest part on the right hand side. And the important thing is when you do this kind of pattern, light to the left, darkest to the right, keep that for every single shape. So for the tyres, the darkest bit will be on the right, lightest bit on the left. The bodywork, darkest part on the right, lightest bit on the left. Engine, lightest part on the left, darkest part on the right. Maintain that pattern throughout the whole picture to give it an even tone. Now I'm going to move slowly up to the engine bay. For maybe the large space areas around the engine area and the bodywork, I'll be working in cross hatching. This is like another texture I'll be doing, so I've got the rough bodywork texture, now I've got the cross hatching for the large space areas. Again, this is just building up different areas of different darkness. Some areas I'm not quite sure how dark they're going to be, how much light is showing, so doing a little bit here and there, slowly building up all around. You don't want to do some area too dark and then leave some bit too light. Just go backwards and forwards, slowly building up the layers. For smooth metal spaces, it's good to do smooth solid lines, not very broken lines like what I've done with the texture of the bodywork, because this is a smooth kind of shape. You want smooth long lines. I'm leaving a little minute white highlight in between this shape, just so you can see each individual component. I could join the shadow right up to the edge, but you'll lose the transition between what's where, and it will kind of mix with other shapes here and there, so it doesn't really give that much depth perception. When working with depth perception with the actual components of the shading, it's good to basically go in with a contrast and shading texture. So, for instance, I've got the solid black lines on top, and then I've got the cross hatching underneath. The contrast between the two will pull them apart. That's how you create good depth. Slowly working backwards and forwards. This has got a very lot of different complicated metal sections, so I'll just be building them up with smooth lines. Although it doesn't seem like much, when you're doing the whole picture, it will bring out the whole picture altogether. Going backwards and forwards. It's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it, once you've got the line working. Remember working with the surfaces as well. If you've got diagonal surfaces, work some lines across the diagonal surfaces. Move with those surfaces. This is the main engine V block shape at the bottom. Move with those surfaces. That's diagonal in shape. Moving around. Smooth out bodywork and things. It's important to go over all the little components here and there, to go an even tone throughout the whole engine, and to bring out all those different shapes and individual components, maintaining those solid shapes for the engine texture. For the fan belt, I'm using lots of fine lines here and there, and all the little sections on the front. Sometimes I would go back in and add some extra shading here and there. Important thing is to go backwards and forwards, assess what you might need extra and assess what you might not need. Some areas might need building more, some areas might need maybe a bit more of a smoother transition between the light area and the dark area. No one can really tell you what's what, it's all about just what you think would actually be there in the first place. With the fine air pen, you can get a smooth transition between the lighter and darker, but obviously you can't stand there doing it all day, so there's thicker pens with the darker areas. The rest of the shading now, but I've got the finished picture, here you go. This is a very fun picture to do, and I'd highly recommend if anyone wants to try maybe doing a car similar with a nice beautiful engine in front. I think next week I'll be working with the People Eaters limo, which is a very interesting car, very long and very detailed. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoyed the video, please like it. If you want to see some more, subscribe to get easier access. Thanks very much. Toodle pip.